What's going on, everybody? It is your boy Chris Mann. I am here at the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. It is Tuesday, October 28th, 2025. My name is Chris Drummond. I am a freelance sports reporter based out of upstate New York here and proprietor of this podcast, Work Hard, Play Harder, where I bring individuals on to talk about their why and get to know them outside of their occupation. I got a very special guest that's coming on with me today, and she has had multiple stops as an MMJ. MMJ stands for Multimedia Reporter. She is currently working in sports. Her name is Lindsey Selzer. And we're going to talk to her about her why of getting into reporting. We're also going to talk to her why about getting into sports, but we're also going to ask her some get to know you questions. So without any further ado, Lindsey, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here, and this is so much fun. And I love that you're getting to know people's why, whether it's young journalists or really anybody in the sports sphere. So, really, thank you so much for having me, and I'm excited to be here.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming on. You look absolutely lovely tonight. I want to
Thank
restate that again.
you.
There's no question about that. And I want to also throw this first question out to you because it's the same question that I ask all of my guests that come here on the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. And it's very simple. What is your why? Why do you do what you do? Did you have any role models or any inspirations maybe growing up? But ultimately, what is your why for getting into journalism and sports?
So my why is a long story, I would say. So I started getting into sports at the young age of, I would say, 13 or 14. I always played sports, but watching professional in college, I wasn't so into, I would say, until about that age. I grew up going to Rockets games. My parents had season tickets in their families for over 30 years.
Mm,
So going to Rockets games, being around that atmosphere, I knew from a very young age, I didn't know how, but I knew that I wanted to be involved in sports, in the camaraderie, and something that had to do with those live events. And I never really thought it would be on the journalism side. Going into my undergraduate degree at University of Arizona, I thought that I was going to stay on the communication side. Social media was coming up then. PR, that's
right,
really where I thought I was going to be.
right.
I got my degree in something called general studies with an emphasis in sports and society. And what that meant was
Mm,
I took a lot of sports sociology classes. Any class that had the name sports on it, I was taking.
okay.
So I also minored in something called e-society. And what that was internet society, talking about social media, new media, and relationships. So it was
Yeah.
almost like the social media minor. I realized really quickly I didn't want to do social media. I was
Mhm.
more interested in the communications and the public relations sphere, and I'm wanting to be in sports. And then I decided, probably my junior year, that I wanted to be in the sports management side. And in order to do that, I decided to take the LSAT, like for law school. So
Yep.
I've taken the LSAT before, which is really funny to think about. Um, COVID hit about right after that. That was in November 2019. That LSAT COVID hit by
March
March
2020.
2020, yes. And
Yep.
so by March 2020, I was a senior in college trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I knew I didn't want to be in Houston. I wanted to be in Phoenix, looking for anything with the name sports on it that could get me into Phoenix, just anything. So through just people I knew and making connections and networking and networking and networking, I found this one guy and he had a radio show in Arizona. It was called Dorf on Sports. His name was Andy Dorf. And he talked to me on the phone, and just from one phone conversation, he asked me if I wanted to be on the radio, and I thought that was insane. I was like, there's no way somebody wants me to come on and talk about
Right.
sports. And we were going to talk about sports and fashion, which is really funny too, that that's what
Wow.
we talked about at the time.
Okay.
And so I was a phone call because it was COVID. I was still in Houston at the time. I was going to move in a few weeks. I had found another job to make some money leasing apartments at the time, but I had to do something with sports. It's my passion. That's what I wanted my name on.
Oh,
So after being on this radio show a few times on the phone, they said, "Hey, once you move here, would you like to come in and be on with us twice a week?" And that's exactly what I did. So I made my work schedule that was leasing apartments. I made them change it around so I practically had one weekend day and two other half days as my
cool.
weekend so I could do the radio. I did it so I could do it because I loved it. It was
Right.
just me and three other dudes talking sports every Monday and Friday for 2 hours.
That's
And
amazing.
Yeah, and we had a lot of fun. We really did. And then from there, I decided to create my own podcast, which is no longer anymore, but I really want to bring it back. This is kind of inspiring me, to be
You
honest.
should.
I really want to. It was awesome. I'd have you on if I bring it back. It was called The Lowdown with Linz, and I talked about sports and pop culture because those
Yeah.
are like my two favorite things. And those are kind of what make up my personality, my mind. And so from there, I decided to do the podcast. And then I wanted to take things more seriously and really try to make money off of this. So I decided I needed to go to graduate school. That's where I decided to go to Arizona State in Phoenix. I got my master's in sports journalism there. I thought I was going to be like the next sports audio person. I was convinced it was going to be audio for me. Throughout my time there, I was told maybe you should try going on camera. And I did that and I ended up really liking it. I also learned how to MMJ, running around with camera, the whole thing. At Cronkite, they do something called the professional program, which is really great because it's like being an MMJ in the real world. It's a little bit
Right.
slower paced, but it's like being an MMJ in the real world. You have these stories you're contacting, you're filming, you're editing, you're putting things together, and there is a newscast. So that was really great. Also from Cronkite, I had the opportunity to anchor a Valley sports show, which was great. And then graduation rolled around, and I was looking for just jobs, at news stations, looking for sports positions mostly. And I wanted, and you usually have to start small town. That's usually how this works.
Absolutely.
So I was trying to look for small towns that appealed to me a little bit more than others. And I applied for the station called KION in the Central Coast of California, the Monterey Salinas area.
That's
And
right. Very familiar with Salinas. Very
yeah.
familiar with that city. So
Oh,
yeah.
you're very familiar with Salinas?
Yep. Yep.
Really? That's
But
exactly where
I
my
used
station
to.
was.
So my father used to live out there in Salinas. And
Really?
I'm from California. So I'm from the southern part. So San Diego is where I grew up. But with
God.
my father being able out there, I visited out there so many times where I went to San Francisco, San Jose. San Jose is really close to Salinas. But
Yes.
also went to Oakland, which they're 7 miles apart, San Francisco and
Yes.
Oakland. So I'm very familiar with that city, that town. It's right in the middle of San Jose and San Francisco. So yeah, I have fond memories of being in Salinas, California for sure.
Yes, so that's exactly where I worked at the time. Now, no longer. My station does not exist anymore, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. But
Sure.
at the time, there were two stations, and I was promised. We had a sports director on who was fabulous, and he's great. His name's Maxwell Glenn. He's another great person in this industry. Very, very, very talented. But I was
Okay.
promised, if you news MMJ a little bit, maybe learn how to produce for us. I, at Cronkite, actually learned how to stand on the weather wall and do the weather a little bit. So much as not a meteorologist, I have no meteorology degree, but I learned how to read some radars and stand up there and do it. So they said if you could help us out with that. At the time, we had our chief meteorologist, morning meteorologist, married with kids, so sometimes time off would be a little bit difficult. So they needed somebody to help fill in that time. So I was happy to do it.
Absolutely.
Very eager to work, eager to learn. And they gave me the chance of sports, which a lot of my other friends weren't getting at the time. So I kind of took it and jumped on it. I was there for my contract was 2 years. I stayed about 6 months after that. Actually, not 6 months. I'm so sorry. I stayed about 3 months after that.
Hmm.
Um, and within that 2 year contract, I did everything. So my contract said producer and MMJ. I was the producer. I produced all. By the time I left, I produced all three shows: morning, day side, and night side.
Wow.
I done the weather in all three shows as
Okay.
well. I done sports in all three shows. I knew how to news MMJ, and I wasn't like the best at everything, but I was doing a lot of different things on a lot of different shifts, filling a lot of different holes.
Right.
And I decided when I was offered a new contract at the time, which thank God I didn't take for a lot of reasons because my station no longer exists.
Right.
uh, I decided that I wanted to move on to a place. I was very isolated from friends and family as well. I was ready to get back to a community. I built myself a community there, but it was very small and very isolated.
Mhm.
And it was definitely difficult to be there, and it's difficult to do that. So then, fast forward a few months later, I decided that I didn't want to renew my contract, but they still needed somebody to fill in for a little bit. So I said, I'll stay. You know, I don't have another job right now. I'll stay for a little bit if you need. So I stayed for a little bit, and I decided I wanted to do something with all sports on my way out. Kind of was done with the news thing for my side, and just really wanted to move on with all sports. So I started looking for jobs in all sports. So I found some sports sideline reporting. I've done a few matches for U of H here for volleyball. I'm really hoping to do some more stuff. So really trying to get myself out there in any way that I can. But
Sure.
on the side, and how I do make money these days is working for a sports marketing and entertainment firm here in Houston. It's very small, but we are mighty. It is called United Sports and Entertainment, and we put on college basketball games on neutral sites for the most part. We also do things with NIL, and we also have a clothing brand called Basketball University. So I am the director of marketing and media services for them. And we just had our first event at the Fort Bend Epicenter, and it was such a success, and it was so much fun to see everything that I've been doing come into play, because going from news to working somewhat remote on my own schedule, but also going in person sometimes to do things like radio promotions or stocking an inventory. Like I was in a
Right.
warehouse for hours, like for weeks, just going through inventory, tickets I've been doing. So it's been really cool to be on the other side. And I was thinking about this the other day. It's kind of a full circle of thinking of what I wanted to do at the beginning and kind of where I am now. And I'm still very hungry for, those opportunities on the sports journalism
I
side,
love it.
and really also on the entertainment journalism side, which are even harder to get. But I have a knowledge of pop culture and of reality TV like no other. So if I could somehow use that and my love of telling sports stories, that's really what I would love to do. But at the same time, I'm really enjoying my career with the events firm as well.
I love that. I really do. That is absolutely amazing, Lindsay. It really is. And what a great start to this conversation of learning about your why and learning about your journey, because you've had a heck of a journey so far. And I know you're going to continue to have even more incredible moments doing your job and stuff like that. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the women's Final Four is in Phoenix this year of the
Yes,
basketball team.
I think it is. So maybe I can try to like drum up some opportunities to freelance over there,
Yeah.
or just finding a women's team that is maybe one of our local teams can go or something like that. And you just never know. So keeping myself around, keeping myself
Yeah.
available, whether it's Houston, whether it's Texas A&M, I'll go to San Antonio, I'll travel. That's how willing I am to stay in the game, whatever it takes.
I feel that, and I love that. I'm definitely willing to travel too, and me being a freelancer, obviously being upstate here in New York, there's some opportunities with Syracuse and their
Yeah.
basketball team that I'm definitely going to seek out. There's some, really near Rochester, New York, so I'm definitely going to be doing some hockey and some lacrosse as well. But one of the main things that I'm looking forward to doing is coming in February, which happens to be my birthday month.
Oh,
Um, is Super Bowl. I got a chance to do that last year, and I plan on going to California again to do it this next upcoming year as well. So yeah, definitely, I'm definitely going to be on the lookout for you because, like I said, I love to network, love meeting amazing people, and you're obviously amazing, no question about it. But I cannot let you get off of this until I ask this question because if I heard you correctly, you said you went to University of U of A and Arizona State University. So you're a Wildcat and a Sun Devil alum.
yes,
That is
yes.
wow. That is interesting. Tell me, were there any other schools that you were considering going to for undergrad and masters, or were you just dead set on those two schools?
So it's funny. That's a great question. When I applied for college, from Houston, Texas, I went to small Jewish day school my entire life, to be completely
O-
honest. Okay, so going from a
Okay.
small level, going to wherever it was going to be pretty big change. I knew really quickly I didn't want to be cold, so that cut off like a lot of the country. So that
Sure.
made things a lot easier. I
Sure.
also knew I'm a very smart woman in a lot of
Okay.
ways, and I had a GPA that was good, but was it like 4.5 out of this world? Am I going to Harvard? No. So
Mm,
it's like I kind of knew where I stood. I wasn't in a lot of APs, but I still had good grades.
right.
I
Right.
knew I wanted a college experience that was going to be social, but also learning a lot. And I
Right.
knew that I also wanted to be somewhere that was warm. So when it came to my undergraduate experience, I applied for 5 schools, I think, or 4 schools, and I ended up withdrawing 2.
Okay.
I applied for UT, University of Texas, because if I went, I would have been third generation Longhorn. Um,
Who's the other two that went?
my grandparents went, and my parents went.
Oh, okay.
So
Got you. Got you.
my great uncle actually played basketball for the University of Texas.
Oh,
So just a lot of Texas UT pride in this family. So I applied there. Got kind
yeah.
of scared that things were going to be a little bit similar to high school. I withdrew that very quickly. Then I applied to SDSU, University of Miami, and USC, and
Okay.
then Arizona. I visited University of Arizona. I loved it. I knew a few people there. I knew some people there, some girls. So that was a little bit comforting to me. Not
Oh, okay. Okay.
like a few people that I knew or people that I knew would go there. Not that I'd be so like alone essentially. And then
Right.
the next weekend I went and I visited San Diego State and I liked it, but not as much as Arizona. And I looked at my mom in the airport and I said, I think I'm going to commit to Arizona today. And she said, really? And I said,
Hmm.
yeah. And I
Okay.
committed. I just knew it was September.
Oh, okay.
Totally.
I
And
like that.
I knew I wanted it and I was done and I withdrew all my other applications. Somebody recently asked me why I did that. I didn't think I if there was a chance of me taking away somebody else's spot, that made me feel icky for lack of better words.
Oh, I see.
No, and I'm
Okay.
not saying I'm the smartest, the best, and I was going to take their spots. There was a good chance I probably wasn't going to get into those schools like USC, Texas, or Miami. And you just don't know. There's so many kids or whatever. But I just like I didn't like I liked the fact that I was decided, and I so much didn't care about what those answers were that I was like, whatever, take them out.
Right. Right, but those are amazing schools that you just mentioned, right? Obviously, San Diego State University, I know that very well.
Yeah.
Growing up in San Diego, Aztecs, go Aztecs, always.
Yes.
So I love that you had the different type of schools, though, right? Because you had San Diego,
Yes.
you talked about the South and University of Miami, but you also talked about the West Coast as far as Arizona goes, and
Mhm.
Arizona goes, right? But I just love the different type of places that you wanted to go. You knew you didn't want to be in the cold, so the Northeast was probably out
University.
for you, and
Yeah, we
Midwest.
couldn't do that. So that wasn't happening, which made my life honestly a lot easier.
Yeah, absolutely, no
Because it
question. I
cut
love that.
schools out, and I did a lot less applications. Also, my senior year, I like got
Mhm.
to relax a little bit. Like I took out my science class, I took another creative writing class, I took another music class, and I lived my life, and I was very happy. You know,
Okay, I love
and
that. That's what's up.
um, that was one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life was going to the University of Arizona, and I never regretted it for one day.
Absolutely. It'll be amazing to see how Bryce James does, LeBron James' son,
Mhm.
because he goes there to U of A, on how their college basketball season would be. I'm definitely going to be tuned in. But I just got a quick look because I wanted to make sure, because the NCAA tournament for the men's is actually coming here to Buffalo first and second round. So I'm
Oh,
definitely
is it
going to be
really in
yeah.
Buffalo? Oh
But
my God.
but for you,
It's
you're
in Houston,
actually
right?
you're getting one of the elite eights. You're getting the
Yes.
elite eight in Houston, Texas. So, who knows? If you can reach out to somebody and be able to make that happen, that'd be great to get an elite eight. I mean, and what Sweet 16 and elite eight would be awesome to do.
Yes, and really anything. So, and I'll travel too. Like that's the thing. I'm just super willing to get back in the game and whatever it takes.
Absolutely, I love
I
that.
do, but yes. And then as far as grad school went, I knew that I wanted a sports journalism master's. I somebody made me apply to something else at NYU. I don't think I got in, to be honest. I think I applied to some journalism thing. I don't think I got in. And the thing was is I'm a good I'm a good enough writer for TV and I can make the news and I can write scripts and be creative, but I'm not like a writer. So I
I
knew
feel
that I
that.
just wanted to do the broadcast side more and the sports side. So there was really only 2 programs in the country that do that, and that's Syracuse and Cronkite that do it the best. So
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
that and I loved being in Phoenix already, and I already had a life there, very established, and so I ended up going to Cronkite and I built another life, and it was another facet of my life, and I'm really happy I did that too. And that was a very different experience, but it was very valuable in a lot of ways, and I met people there that are all over the place doing incredible things.
Mm. I
Like
love
one of my
that.
great friends, Lauren Green, she's the sideline reporter for the Utah Jazz. She's unbelievable. Um, I have friends. Actually, one of my friends is in Jamaica right now. She's from Jamaica and she's in
Ooh,
between jobs right now, and
okay.
she is now corresponding for like NBC New York now, just for the last 2 days because it's been so crazy and people want to see things there, and the island's pretty secluded and all that.
Absolutely.
So it's really impressive what she's doing as well. And I also have friends at news stations around the country, producers, producer friends in Denver. I have good friends in Waco that
Okay.
are like running
Okay.
the sports department there. So
Yeah.
it's really cool to have friends all over the country from that program. And a lot of them don't even do journalism as well. Like um, somebody works for the Golf Channel, I know. I know there's a few people that do social media and things of that sort for sports teams. So it's really cool to see everybody's directions and where they went. And that was probably the most diverse group of people I've ever been a part of personally. So for me, it was really cool and important. And from that, I've met so many friends and just different types of people that I don't think I ever would have met if I weren't put in that program.
That's the beautiful thing about our industry, Lindsay, is that you can take this degree or you can take the knowledge that you gain and you can do so many different positions. It doesn't have to just be journalism. Like you said, it could be PR, it could be working with a firm, it could be working with a sports team, it could be doing so many different things. I definitely am very interested in talking to Lauren Green. Hopefully, you can help me get her on here
I
on
can
the
try my best.
podcast.
She's super busy, but I will try my best for sure. I could probably get you Victoria once this is over.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. We'll definitely get into that for sure, for sure. Now,
Yeah, I
what I
have people you could talk to for sure. I got some
no,
great.
no doubt, no doubt. Now, I want to get back to favorite things. Okay,
Yes.
favorite things of yours. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask you some favorite things, and you just give me the 411 off the rip based upon what your favorite things are. Okay, so here
Okay.
we go. Favorite meal you like to cook.
Favorite meal I like to cook: brisket and baked potato.
Okay, now Lindsay, when I slide through Houston again, not only visit family, I might have to come say what's up to you, girl. I might have to do that.
Real. Yes.
Say
It's
what's
my
up.
grandma's recipe. I like to do that, and I actually had a brisket making addiction when I lived in Monterey, and because I like didn't have a lot of like friends around or family around, I ended up making a lot of brisket. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, I'm with you on that. Brisket, that's what's up. Favorite concert you've ever attended?
Okay. So I've fun fact about me. I've been to every single Taylor Swift tour she has ever put on. So I mean, in my most recent memory, it's gonna have to be the Eras tour. I had such a fabulous time. I went with my mom in Santa Clara. I just moved out there like 2 months ago, essentially before Taylor came, and it was really nice to have my mom out there to visit, kind of for the first time, and it was cool for her to see my station, what I was doing, but also just to like be there with her. It was so incredible, and that concert's unbelievable. So.
Well, listen, I mean, I've met so many Swifties on this platform of my podcast for sure, but I've also met a lot in life as well. So I'm never going to say a bad thing about Taylor Swift. Am I a Swiftie? No, but her
Yeah,
1989 album is probably one of my favorites.
it's fabulous.
No question about that. It's a classic. Let me guess, did you get the Life of a Showgirl album that she dropped this month?
So yeah, I mean, I listen to it every day. But it's so crazy. I'm like starting, I'm like, I need to turn it off. But I've been listening to it all the time. I really like it, and I think it's her best work, I would say, since Midnight's. Because I like torture poets kind of and folklore and all that, but like it's not this is more my vibe.
Okay. All right. I've been hearing a lot of things about that duet that she did with Sabrina Carpenter. Like, that's a very good song.
Exquisite. It really
Okay.
is.
Okay. I got you. All right. Favorite place, Lindsay, you've ever traveled to?
Oh, that's really tough. I feel like I haven't done that much traveling as of late. Not I lived in Monterey, but like that is truly I think the most beautiful place in America.
Mm,
Um, as of recent, I went to Salt Lake City for a bachelorette party. I really liked that. But
okay.
really anywhere that I can be on a beach and not do anything is ideal.
I
Um,
feel that.
you
Okay.
know, I lived in Barcelona for 2 months, summer of 2019. So That was probably my best travel is going to like Capri over there in Italy. Barcelona, I loved. I'm trying to think where else I went. Ibiza. Biarritz, the south of France. That's the best place to go.
Okay, I'm definitely gonna keep that in mind for sure. I would say my favorite place is
Yes.
Jamaica. Is Jamaica.
Oh
No
no.
question, no question about that. I love some Jamaica. The food was great, the people was great, the vibe was great. Now,
Oh,
obviously, they're in our hearts, no question, out there because
yes.
there's a lot of stuff going on out there right now. But that was a place that was great when I went on a cruise. I got a chance to go out there, so that was amazing. So yeah,
Oh,
Jamaica's my favorite place for sure.
yes.
Um,
And Vic, yeah, I'll get you in touch with Vic, but she's one of my best friends, and she's from Jamaica, and so that's what she's doing right now is reporting on the hurricane, kind of, I guess, freelancing because the stations want her work.
yeah, absolutely. I love that. I love that. We're both sports people, so I'm
Yes.
gonna ask you this two-part sports question, and that is favorite sport you like to watch on TV and favorite sport you like to attend in person. They could be the same sport.
That's so funny. That's actually a great question. Because usually people will ask like favorite sport you play and then favorite sport you like to watch or report on, but I like that question better.
Thank
So,
you.
favorite sport to watch on TV, I think is going to be football because in the football stadiums, it's not as easy to see. It's not as accessible. I mean, they're so much bigger, I would say, than all the arenas. We know that
Absolutely.
all these concert tours now, but
Yep.
they're so much bigger, so it's not as easy to watch. And I feel like football is really made for television. While basketball, I love being there in person. I think that it's so much of more of a smaller vibe. An arena is going to be a lot smaller than a stadium, and I love the pace of basketball in person. Football, it also gets like it can get a little long. Baseball can get really long and sometimes a little bit slower. So I think those sort of slower sports are better to watch on TV, while maybe something more fast paced. You would want to watch it, or I would want to watch in person, which sounds kind of backwards now that I'm saying it, but I don't know. That's just how I
No.
feel.
Absolutely not. No, listen, you ain't got to sweet talk me. That's for sure. You sweet talking me right now because my favorite sport is basketball.
Yeah.
There's no question about that. So I love watching it in person. I love the sneakers. I love the sound of the ball as it goes through the nets. I'm just weird like that. I mean, I love
Me
the
too.
fast pace up and down. I love just the pin downs, the screens, the threes,
Mhm.
just everything about basketball. And plus, you hit it on the head. It's much smaller arenas. So it
Yeah,
feels like there's no bad seat, no matter where you're sitting.
absolutely. Yeah.
There's not a bad seat. Now, football, I do love watching on TV. I don't mind covering a football game. If I'm on
Yeah.
the
Strong.
field,
Yeah.
that's great. That's amazing. Yeah, I love that. But if you're in the stands, like you talked about or we talked about,
Mhm.
75,000, 80,000 seats, if you're way up there, they look like mini me's and you're
Yeah.
watching the Jumbotron. It's like, what's the point? You might as well stay at home.
I
You get a much better view. So, yeah, absolutely. Like I said, we're in sync there, girl. So, there's no question about that. Last of the favorites.
okay.
I'm a huge foodie. Favorite place you like to go out and eat at?
Ooh, like here in
Yeah,
Houston?
absolutely.
Oh gosh, this is like the hardest question you could ever ask me. So here's what I say about Houston. I think Houston is actually probably the best, some of the best food in the country, if not the best food in the country. Let me tell you why. Not
Okay.
every single type is going to be the best, but you have the most variety of options in Houston because we are such a
Yeah,
cultural melting pot.
very
There's an
true.
LA Times article that came out a few years ago. You should read it, but it talks about how Houston is a cultural melting pot and why the restaurants are so good. Like, we'll have people move to Austin and they're coming back to Houston for whatever, coming back for their favorite Indian food, Pakistani food, or like Mexican, just different things that aren't so typical, or just different cuisines and stuff. So it's really cool. But I guess if we're in Houston, I'd have to say let's do Tex-Mex and we're gonna go to Lupe Tortilla.
Oh, yes, absolutely. There was a spot downtown when I came to Houston
Mhm.
last year, and we actually saw T Grizzly, the
Oh
rapper
really?
there. Yeah, we saw T Grizzly, the rapper in the restaurant, which is crazy. I was like, wow, that's what's up. So me and my
Yeah.
family went down there, my brothers, we went down there to visit my brother down there in Houston. The only thing I didn't like about Houston was y'all got too many damn tolls, man. Y'all got so many
Right.
tolls over there.
You're right, and the
It's like,
traffic's really bad. I actually, speaking of Houston, I saw Master P last night and two, or not last night, 2 nights ago, because
mm,
his son plays for University of Houston. So,
wow,
I was
okay.
watching. I also, I volunteered for the University of Houston tip-off dinner last night.
Hmm.
Um, 10 years ago, I forgot to say this. So right before I went to college, or no, it's actually right after my freshman year of college. I interned for the University of Houston men's basketball team. I interned for Lauren Sampson, who is Calvin Sampson, the head coach's daughter,
Yeah.
and she does everything for them besides basketball. She is the most impressive. You talk about people I've looked up to, mentors you look up to. I look up to her. I mean, she is incredible. She's not a journalist, but she does everything to keep that team together and the success that they have built. Yes, it's the game, but what she has done has propelled them beyond belief. So
Mm.
when I moved back to Houston, that was my first phone call to say, hey, I'm happy. Like, I would love to help you or wherever I can be involved in sports. And she actually introduced me to my boss at the events firm. So it's really crazy how things work like that. And if it weren't for me just giving a call back to Lauren, who was so gracious to give me my boss Rossi's number,
Mhm.
um, I mean, I wouldn't have this incredible job that I do today that I'm so fortunate to have. And I was lucky enough to leave my last job at KION, starting this job during that. I started in my last 2 weeks.
Yeah,
So I
absolutely.
never went unemployed, which was what I was really scared of. And I
Absolutely.
think a lot of people are really scared of. Because it's just a really tough, it's not only a tough industry, it's a tough job market out there right now in general.
Yeah,
So I'm so thankful and I'm so blessed that I had that connection and I like it just went into fruition. But anyway, on top of that, I asked Lauren, I thanked her about a few months in. I was like, thank you so much. This is working out so well. If you ever need a helping hand, just free labor, I'm there. And she said, we have this tip off dinner on this date. Come on. And I went and I volunteered. I set up and then I was lucky enough to get to stay for the dinner. And it was really one of the most incredible events I could ever be a part of. Coach Sampson spoke about every single player. I mean, all the donors were there. It was just like an incredible, incredible event. And that was also a night after watching them play against Mississippi State. So it was cool to really, it got me really excited for this basketball season with U of H because, I mean, last year, obviously, we got so close.
yep,
Um, and
yep.
it was just kind of that terrible ending. So, I mean, they're hungry for it again. They want to go at it again. And the Sampson family is incredible. Kellen is their son, who's also an assistant coach over there. And for years, they have been great to me. And I talked to Coach Sampson for like 2 seconds last night, but he couldn't have been nicer. And like, they're just such an incredible family. And what Lauren does is unbelievable. But I'm a huge University of Houston basketball Cougars fan. Like, I just love that team. I
Absolutely.
have for the past 10 years. And when nobody, I mean, they used to get, like, they would go give out, like, tickets to people to go to games, and now sold out can't get in.
Absolutely, and they're definitely going to be one of the favorites to possibly win it all.
Yes.
In college basketball, no question about it. As they had a heck of a run last year, no question.
Yes.
I mean, what a comeback to beat Duke! That was crazy. Uh,
Crazy.
no question about that. But in all, I'm a huge college basketball fan.
Yeah.
I love the fact that there's going to be Houston there. Obviously, the
Yeah.
defending champions of Florida. We got to see how they look.
Yeah. And then
Um,
Auburn, I mean, University of Houston for our event is playing Auburn, which is so
yep,
crazy. That's going to be in Birmingham, and that's on November 16th. That's already sold out. Um,
yep,
so
yep.
that game is going to be unbelievable. Sharp looked really good. If we're talking about like who looked good, Sharp looked good, JoJo looked good. Those are like their older guys, juniors, seniors. Sharp, I mean, he was like player of every single time they advanced. He was player of the Elite Eight, player like every single time they advanced, he was the one. So
Okay.
And they also have a lot of young guys that look really tall and big, and it was just like really fun to watch. So I'm excited to see that. Also, I was lucky enough to go to a preseason Rockets versus Jazz game the first time that KD stepped on the floor, and that was really fun to watch as well. And the Rockets, I'm really excited. I'm really excited for the season, and I mean, obviously we have Kevin Durant. For people like my father who went to UT, to see Kevin Durant in a Rockets jersey, that's something that he never thought he would ever see. So to sit next
Mm.
to him and watch that, that was really cool for me. And also, we
Okay.
look good. Like, Segun looks good. Like, we got some guys. We're looking good. Adams. I wish Van Fleet wasn't hurt, but it is what it is.
Yeah, me too.
Um,
Me too.
so we gotta just like, but the momentum was looking great out there, and I think they're just hungry for a win. And for the first game that was the first game of the season, for it to go into double overtime like that, that really set, I believe, the precedent for the rest of the season to say we're not joking around here. We used to not take the beginning so seriously, but I feel like now maybe we're back to actually playing and taking games seriously and playing all our players. So that's
Sure.
exciting.
I love it. I love it. Now, I want to follow this up by asking you about now your day-to-day process. Now, obviously, as a journalist, no 2 days are ever the same. Every day is different. When you were reporting, I'm sure you were reporting on something different, doing something different, talking to somebody different. That's one of the major reasons why I love to do reporting, is because it's the unknown of what we're going to do, how fun it's going to be. You never know what the result is going to be. That's
Yeah,
what sports does. They bring people together, but they also can break your heart as well. Like
exactly.
they can do both, right? So, but you're in a marketing kind of position now. So tell me about your day to day process. Tell me, I know you have 4 events that you lined up, but
Yes.
is there some events maybe on the horizon that's coming up? I know CBS Sports Classic is in Atlanta, Georgia. I am going back home to visit mom's
Yeah.
for Christmas, so I plan on covering that game. That's a college basketball game that's neutral site as well. So tell me about your day to day process of how you prepare yourself. What do you do? What is your title? What is your role? What time frame do you work from till when it ends and stuff like that?
So my process is so, and my schedule is so different than what it used to be. I'll kind of talk about what it used to be. And you said, when you were in news, something was different every day. And mine was to the point that it was a little crazy because we were so low staffed, and because I knew how to do a little bit of everything. Whenever somebody was sick, I was on their shift immediately, or I was doing their job.
Right.
Sometimes that would happen at a drop of a pen, like just would be, I'd be working a regular shift like 10 to 6, and at 3 o'clock somebody would come up to me and say, hey, you need to do the morning weather tomorrow, go home, come back at 4 a.m., come back at 3 a.m. And so every day would be different like that. And because I wasn't just doing one thing, some days I'd do the weather, some days I'd produce, some days I would do sports. I would never only just do sports. Like, let's be honest, I would never only just do sports. If I did sports, it was like always piled on with something else. And so that's what made
Right.
things kind of a little bit rougher for me too, because when I would go up to do sports, and doing sports was what I loved and wanted to do, I felt an immense amount of pressure because I was like thinking maybe this is my only opportunity, or I have to get this right now to get it for my reel. And in the end, I think that pressure actually um, hurt me, and I wish I would have just like kind of relaxed into things more, and just enjoyed, because I think that at the end of the day, I was so nervous about just getting my hits and getting everything to be perfect because I only
Sure.
had so much opportunity there.
Yeah.
So that was like also stressful. So I'd sometimes have to like produce the entire show, and then I could do sports, or I'd have to go do this and then I could do sports. But it was never like you can just do sports, you know?
Right.
So that's why I was like, wherever I go next, there's not going to be the word news on my contract. If I go to a news station, there will not be the word news on my contract, because that's when they can push you around to do whatever you want, or whatever they
Right.
want. And so
Right.
I was done doing that. So now my schedule looks a lot different. I'm actually part time right now with the sports marketing and entertainment firm, looking to go full time. Hopefully, it's just a matter of they're small, and it's just a matter of how many more events we get and things like that. So working towards that for sure.
Mhm.
But my days now look a lot different. There's a lot more balance in my days.
Right.
So, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I get myself to the gym, whether that's Pilates or like a trainer. I do that. So I make sure
Okay.
that's day. But my schedule every day really looks different. I usually have a certain amount of meetings per day, all dependent on when the events are and what I'm needed to do. I've done multiple things for the sports marketing and entertainment firm, United Sports and Entertainment. I've been on the inventory side, so I've spent some days in warehouses, sorting through boxes, counting sweatshirts, the whole thing, going on the website. I actually was uploading, at one point, I was uploading designs to sweatshirts to be printed in the shop.
Hmm.
Every single graphic I had to go through and upload, and we have like a lot of clothing, so that was a lot, but I enjoyed doing it. And then I've done things with ticket sales. I sold a ton of tickets for our first event, and I was sending all of those tickets out to everybody. Um, I help like during the events, just making sure everything goes smoothly. So I'll run around, and there's about two people that are probably above me in the company. Well, three technically, my boss, but I make sure that they don't need any help. And then if there's any problems or anything else, like I had to tell, it was actually so crazy. I had to tell media because the cheerleaders were supposed to go on one side of the sideline, and
Yep.
these people in media, they were trying to sit there, and so they were like kind of giving the cheer coach a hard time, which is not cool. Like, just don't do that. If you're in media,
Right.
I don't think it's cool to do that. And
Right.
so, and being on the media side, if somebody would have told me to move anywhere ever, I would have been like 100% sure, no problem. So I
Right.
went up to these girls because the coach came up to me and was like, "They're giving me a problem," and I was like, "Okay, I guess I'll go deal with it." So I went up and I was like, "Hey guys, like." I'm so sorry, but we need this spot for the cheerleaders, if you guys could just move over there. And they were very rude to me and said, well, there's no room. And I said, well, actually there is. And they were like, well, can we just do this? And I said, no, I'm so sorry, but so,
Wow. Wow.
it's just like, but I was thinking, me in that position, I would have been so scared, but people are brave, I guess. So I just also say, I do a lot of different things for the company. Oh, and also sponsorships. I was in charge of sponsorships.
Yeah, that's that seems to be more common and common now. Especially when you're in
Yeah.
media, you get credentials. You see it a lot more often. Now, me personally, I'm either in a box or there is a little area where they kind of tape off or weird off for the media. That's what they do. They do that at every single event. People that's in the media knows that. Whether you're covering
Yeah.
high school, college, or professional, you get a designated area where you go and take
100%.
photos all the time. You get a designated area, but sometimes media likes to slide into certain areas because they can get better shots or they can get a better look or
That's what
they
they were trying to do. And to me, I was like, okay. And also, this is a preseason game. Like, this isn't,
right,
Final Four.
right,
Like,
right. And I get it was probably the first preseason game. I get
yeah.
that, and you probably want to take photos, but you can't overstep boundaries by being in somebody else's spot. That's
Yeah, and
just
also like those cheerleaders were meant to be there, and like that's
right.
why we hired them. You know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
little things like that, just handling little things,
Hmm.
making sure everybody's nice to everybody is anything that I do too. Like there was some mistreatment of staff, and I was like, you know. So
which
I do a
which
lot,
is
but my
also common at some of these arenas. Like
I
if you
know,
guys want to go into reporting or be in sports, you are going to see some of this stuff happen at arenas. You're going to see staff get treated. You're going to see media tries to go tiptoe right to that line. Some of them may go over that line, some of them may not. I've seen it plenty of times, especially me being in Minnesota when I was
yeah,
covering high school and state stuff, and also covering the Timberwolves. There was people that was just we had a designated area, and they just would not stay there. They would just tiptoe across the line, and they'd be like,
yeah.
"Dude, you can't go over there. Like this is your area." And we were set up very well. We had a media room, we have snacks, we have drinks, we have
Oh, they
food.
do too, but it's just people, and this is so crazy to say, but I feel like the younger people in this business are like very entitled,
No, for sure. For sure.
and it's just interesting for me to
Yeah, for
watch.
sure. I'm
Uh,
I'm 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 now obviously I've been in this for about 8 years. I graduated college a few years ago, but I was an older student. I'm in my 30s now.
Oh, cool.
And for me, watching some of these 20-year-olds coming to here and cover some of the games, you do see a little bit of entitlement, a little bit,
Yeah.
um, which is unexpected. I mean, sorry, not unexpected, which is expected, I should say.
Mhm.
But I want to get your perspective on this because a
Yeah.
bonus question came up in my mind, and that
Okay.
is, uh, um, I want to ask you about women sports reporting.
Yes.
And I want to ask you, do you feel like there's some inequalities in that? And if so, what are the inequalities that you feel like there are in women's sports reporting? Because I feel like there's some in pay, treatment, and opportunities. What do you think?
So I know for a fact that a lot of the women reporters are being paid less than the men reporters, which is insane. Like, I don't think
Mhm.
pay should be based on gender.
Right.
I know from being a woman in the industry, even being a woman in my newsroom, I used to get really frustrated because I felt that when I was doing sports, everybody had an opinion on what. That's not that the sports director is allowed to have an opinion, okay? But everybody else who's not the sports director, and usually when I was doing sports, that meant the sports director wasn't there. And so everybody, I felt like that were mostly men, they had an opinion on what they thought should be in my sportscast, what I should be doing. And
Sure.
at
Sure.
first, I definitely needed that help and guidance. But then as it got to be, me getting a little bit more used to things, I would get frustrated because I felt like, oh, like if there was another man doing this, they wouldn't be trying to guide him or doing this.
Right.
And maybe that's not the truth. And maybe that's a perception I had. But I've also been on sidelines and seen the way that people like people will like catcall and things like that, and that's just
Oh
like
boy.
totally out of control.
Oh.
Um, and yeah, so and just people and especially men looking at you like you're dumb because you maybe didn't play football when you were 5, or you didn't do this, or you didn't do that. And I'm not a stats genius by any means. I can read stats sheets and get what I need from them in order to sideline report. But am I a
Sure.
statistician? No. A statistician? No. And am I a super stats geek and nerd? No. And so that's not what I bring to the table.
Right.
Um, I like to think that I bring a different form of storytelling and giving off culture and just not so much on, stats. And I feel like there's a lot of guys that feel just because they're a man, they should be there, sort of thing. But it's not the case with everybody, for sure. But I
Oh, for
definitely
sure.
know that there's inequalities. And I felt some of those inequalities myself.
Yeah, I think it was an important question to ask because, I typically ask the women sports reporters that do come on this platform on my podcast of that question because they do feel that of what you just said. Sometimes that people want to give their 2 cents, particularly men, on how to improve your performance or improve the sports segment of the
Hmm.
show, or maybe if you're going into there's a lot of times where I've heard where women go into the media rooms and there's not many women in there, not much
Yeah.
women in. There might be 1 or 2 women in the media room, and they'll say, "Well, wow, man, I feel like an added pressure, especially if that woman is minority. I feel like an
Yeah.
added pressure to be able to be on my p's and q's even more because I got to set a precedent that we know what we're talking about, and we know what we're doing, and it shouldn't be that kind of pressure,
Yeah.
because it wouldn't be that pressure on a man, or like you said." I think I had one individual talk about how somebody questioned her because she was covering football.
Oh,
And
I've been questioned for all that too. I mean, like you're here, like it's horrible. It's like, oh, you're here, like, aren't you? And it's like, no.
that's not right. It's not right. It's
Yeah.
not cool. But I think us men should speak about it more because women are going to
Yeah.
talk about it. There's no question. But until the needle's going to get moved a little bit, I think the needle can get moved a lot more if more men
Yeah.
talk about that.
I agree.
And I encourage men to talk about that because we need women in our industry. We need to be together. It's not just
Yeah.
about men and women. It's just about us as an industry because it's not just men watching the games. It's not just men playing the games.
Yeah.
It's not just like women add a different perspective to the game as well. And we need to listen to that perspective because it's important. One, it's knowledgeable. Number two,
Yes.
and I'm very inclusive.
Yes.
When I do my specials and I do my different things, there is a lot of women I bring on, but there's men I bring on too. I bring men on for specials with NBA or MLB
Yeah.
or NFL, stuff like that. I feel like we need to have more conversations like that.
I agree.
And I'm going to continue to be an advocate of that. But it bleeds into the next question,
Mhm.
which is advice. What is some advice that you would give an individual that wants to be in this sports industry, right? Or wants to be in journalism and do sports? You know, you've done both on the news and sports side, and now you're in the marketing side. So, what kind of advice would you give an individual that wants to be in this?
I think the best advice I would give is you have to start small wherever it is for the most part.
Hmm.
So if you want to really be in this business, I know that I made a decision. I mean, I could have gone to, I was in market 123. I could have gone, I got a few offers from markets that were lower than that, but I knew that that's not what I wanted to do because I felt like I already did my small town time and I needed to change my priorities a little bit for my own mental health and my life and my, just to live my life a little bit more. I stopped living my life at some point. So my best advice is make sure that you just prepare yourself. If you want to do this, you probably will have to go to a small town for a little bit or just do anything you can freelance wise to just reach out in your cities. Bigger cities are definitely tougher. I know that I'm having a little bit of a tough time in Houston, but I mean, I'm not going to give up. I'm still going to keep trying to get that work, whatever it is. I guess my advice is to be persistent, and this is not easy. Um, and you want to know, this is going to sound maybe not what everybody else would say, but
Mm.
don't do it for social media. Don't do anything for social media. I actually have the opposite problem. I have trouble posting like what I do on social media to the point because I think people get into this business because they want to do it for themselves, but that's not the reason to do it. It's not
Right,
about you.
right,
When you're recording, when you're doing a story, it's about somebody else. I would get annoyed because at our station there would be these interview shots or these stand-ups that had nothing to do like with the story, but it was just to show that person because they wanted to be on camera and they wanted,
right,
that's not what it's about. So
right.
you got to be ready to work hard, maybe move somewhere small. It's going to be a lot of physical work if you're MJing, and a lot of these news stations now are very short staffed, but if you come in and you have a positive attitude, and the best thing that I can tell you to do as well is to just say yes. As long as it's not dangerous, just say yes. Always say you're willing to try something.
Okay.
Um, the reason why I ended up learning so much at KION and doing all these different things was because I said I was willing to volunteer and do them. And because of that, I did get a little bit more. So, like, I got some sports segments sometimes and things like that. So, it will pay off. My other advice is if you want to go into sports, don't, and only sports, if there's a chance that you might want to do news, don't settle for that news and sports job at first because then it's kind of hard to transition. I would say just go for the sports job at first and wait for that and then
Okay.
move on from there. It's a little bit easier to move on. That's like something I kind of regret. I'm trying not to live in regret. And trying to take, everything I learned from KION was so great in a lot of ways and it wasn't all sports, but I really like. I think that I could have set myself up better in the end if I would have
Sure.
waited for that sports position. But who knows where that would have been, and
Right.
if that would have existed. So my advice is maybe if you can afford to find something to hold you over, to wait it out for the right position because it's worth it.
I love that. I love that. And listen, you've been money on every question that I've had, and I got a few more, just a few more
Okay,
questions
let's do
before,
it. Okay,
before,
take it.
before, before I rock with you. Okay, I'm rocking with you right now because I love it. You mentioned mental health, and I really want to touch up on that
Yes.
because in this industry, mental health, and not just this industry, but pretty much any occupation, mental health is
Yeah.
absolutely important. But there's been many times as a journalist being in this for 8 years. I've seen journalists leave this industry because their mental health is affected. I've
Yeah.
seen journalists leave this industry because of their work life balance not being balanced. And in my opinion, I don't ever think you're going to get 100% of a work life balance because everybody's balance is
Yeah.
created differently. Everybody cards are dealt differently as far as situations, and everybody's adversity is different. So tell me, how do you keep your mental health strong, but it still also have that work-life balance, Lindsay? Because you seem like a wonderful woman to be around. I certainly wouldn't mind being around you at
You're so
all.
nice. Thank you.
And but I also think that you're very serious about what you do, and
Mhm.
very passionate about what you do. So please tell me how you balance it out without, experiencing burnout.
So I was in a major burnout stage and I was
Mm.
really unhappy where I was by the end of my contract. I stayed just to get more sports hits. That's really why I stayed. But in order to stay to get more sports hits, I had to stay away from my family, completely secluded. At the drop of a pen, I keep saying drop of a pen, at the drop of a hat, I'd be called in to do something. Whether
Yeah,
I could get called up at any time. I was always on edge. And I
yeah,
didn't have the support locally from friends and family that I needed to keep me going. And so eventually it all started to break at me and just get
wow,
at me. And I just said, I can't do this anymore. And people keep saying that I don't like to say this because I don't think it's 100% correct, but
right,
I had somebody say to me today because I was telling them how my station ended up shutting down about 2 months after I left. And I had somebody say to me today, "It's so incredible that you had the instinct to get out of there when you did." And I've never thought about that, and it's
right,
also a really sad thing too because there was a lot of things in that place that weren't great, but I did learn a lot from that place, and at the end of the day I made friends there that were like my family, and they had to be my family at the time.
right,
um, and so it was horrible for me to just have them be like, one call of the day, and they don't have jobs. They don't have jobs. The station that's been open for years and years and years, they didn't have jobs, and that really upset me. And as much as like I would always say, there's not enough people working here. Like I don't know how this place is going to stay open because we were so understaffed, and I was running around like a crazy person. Um, I never thought they would actually come to closing down like that. So that was pretty crazy. But I'm really upset for all of my friends and former colleagues because they were some great, incredible, incredible hard workers, and whoever
sure,
gets them next are extremely lucky.
absolutely,
Like
and
mental health now, so sorry, but mental health now today, what it's about. So part of my mental health is Callie, come here, come here,
Mhm.
come here, come here. Okay, well, this is my doggy.
Oh, that's adorable.
This is Callie, and
Okay,
she my mental health very well. I got her when I was in California in Monterey. She
okay,
was famous on the news. I had her on the weather wall with me during my last few weeks and on the anchor desk because you can go, honey. Because I was like, I have 2 weeks left. I don't care. So um, my friends at my station, they were like, I got her a year ago, so I mean, they raised her too. So it was like family there. But mental health is my dog, a lot of it.
okay,
Working out has been really important to me lately. And really just being around my family and friends. I mean, I'm actually living with my parents right now for the first time in 10 years, which is very interesting being almost 30 years old. But um, at the same time, it's something I think I really needed because I was so isolated for so long. And what I always say to people is there's a difference between choosing to be alone and being forced to be alone. And I was
right,
being forced to be alone a lot because people are like, well, I love my alone time, and I'm like, I do too, and I choose to be alone a good amount. But being forced to be alone is something that you should never have to deal with, and that's what I had to deal with a lot. So now, even though sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm back in high school and my parents are up mine or whatever. It's just, I think about it and I'm like, this is what I needed. I just
absolutely,
surrounded by people. And I have
absolutely.
friends nearby, and I'm now going to weddings. I'm going to people's bachelorette parties, things I couldn't do before. And I still feel like I'm living my life. And although I'm not like doing or have like my next gig plan for sidelining or whatever sports gig that will be, like I'm still very hopeful that there will be those gigs and I will get those
Oh,
gigs.
for
And
sure.
um, whatever it is, I just feel like right now, knock wood, I'm on the right path. And I think that for a while I was just really like lost and scared. scared to quit my job, scared to move on. And I think that I ripped the band aid off, and it happened to work out well for me on the sports marketing side. And so I think that now I'm like nourishing myself a little bit more with like family, friends, food, whatever it is, love. I think that I things will start to fall into place more for me.
Absolutely. And listen, the best teacher in life is experience. That's what it is. There's no manual to read this, to go through this and be like, yo, I'm gonna do A, B, C, D, and E and have this shit figured out. It's not you're not gonna have it figured out. It's a beautiful thing that you did move back home. And shout out to Mr. and Mrs. Selzer, because it seems like you got wonderful parents,
We do.
obviously.
So lucky.
And that's great that they were able to be like, okay, baby, you can come back home, figure some stuff out. We know that you've been trying to do your thing, but at the same time, we know that we're going to help support you to do your next move.
Yeah.
But it's also the comfort level
Yeah.
as well, right? As you talked about it, you talked about you being miserable at the end of your contract, and that's the best thing that one of the best things you mentioned, because it's an alert to people out there that do watch this podcast.
Yes.
Listen, when you do watch it, you understand that when you go to work for these stations and they have you in those contracts, you're signing 2 or 3 year contracts, and the only way you could possibly get out is to either work the entire contract or buyout. And
Yeah.
those stations may not have a buyout situation, and the buyout may be too expensive.
Exactly.
And so my thing is that you have to really do your homework and
Yeah.
really know what station you want to go at, what do you want to do at that station. And that's what the best thing I think I'm hearing from you from your next move is that you're very confident in what you want to do, what you don't
Yes.
want to do, what you're not going to sign up for, and stuff like that. But you only gain that with experience, right? When we're
Absolutely.
first getting out of college and we're graduating, it's
Hmm.
like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna take this because this is just what I want to do, and I'm gonna go, 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 yes, 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 all the time.
Yeah.
Now, when you get older, you get a little more seasoned in this industry, you start to realize, you know what? It's okay to say no. You
Yeah.
know what? I'm okay. I can deal with that. I can
It's
deal with saying no. And I had to get to that point too. No
yeah.
question. Because like you said, if you continue to say yes, you will get walked on like a doormat in this
And
industry.
that's what happened to me because I was so willing, which I think is great to be willing to do things, and I think that does help you. But at the end of
Sure.
the day, if you're going to do those things, you got to make sure they don't walk all over you because that's what can happen, and
Absolutely.
then you'll get burnt out.
Absolutely. Now, I want to know, we talked about advice you would give, but what is
Hmm.
some advice that someone has gave you that you hold on dearly to?
Wow, that's such a good question. I think you want to know what I think the best advice I've gotten, and it was actually from my dad.
Hmm.
Wherever, like when you're out covering something, if it's a shooting or something sad, please neglect this information. This is more like sports, but like if it's a shooting or something else, please be sensitive. I'm not talking to you.
Okay.
Or if it's like some natural disaster, we're not talking about that. But if it's like something that's an event, even a city council meeting, if you're covering any sports event, smile. Just smile. Like, don't don't walk around like with like a lack of better word like with like a like I don't even know how to say it with like a
Resting bitch face. We can say
yes,
it.
there you go. You can't
We
walk
can say
around
it.
with a resting bitch face. I mean, it's just so and make sure that you are kind to everybody. That's also
Okay.
another piece of advice that I gotten, and it's taken me very far to just be nice because I don't think that a lot of people are nice. So yeah, smiling and like being friendly, I think is probably the best piece of advice I've received just when you're at those events. Because I'm trying to think of other advice I've gotten, but honestly, like that to me is probably just the best because that's how you're around people and that's how you're going to get people to want to work with you more too.
Absolutely. I agree with that. Now, this next question is called bucket list.
Okay.
And the reason why it's called bucket list is because I want you to speak things into existence, right? And I'll give you a prime example. I want you to name your top four events that you would like to do in your career that you haven't done yet. And I'll give you my example of my four
Okay.
that I would like to do. The first one is the Olympics. Obviously, the
Yes.
Olympics is 28. Is coming into my hometown state of California, in Los Angeles. I would love to do that. They're all going to be sports related because I'm a sports reporter. The second one is going to be the college football playoff slash
Yes.
March Madness. I'm a
Yes.
huge college football fan, huge college basketball fan. I think I'm gonna cross off March Madness this next March coming up because of Buffalo. I would
Yeah.
like to think my fingers are crossed. My third one is going to be the NBA Finals. I'm a huge
Yes.
basketball fan. I don't care where the finals are. I almost crossed that off last year when Dallas was, or a couple years ago, I should say, when Dallas was in the finals, playing against Boston for sure. I almost crossed that off, but didn't get a chance to do that. But I definitely want to do an NBA Finals. My last one that I want to do, without question, is going to be a World Series. I'm a huge baseball fan. I love the World Series. I really would like my Padres to be in it. That would be great. But we can't seem to beat the Dodgers for some reason. But
I mean, the
uh,
Astros didn't even make it this year. I mean, we were pathetic.
yeah, it was not very good for the Astros. But listen, at least y'all got a World Series ring though. The Padres, we're still searching for ours for sure, and we've been to the World Series a couple times, but that's
Yeah.
okay. That's no here or there. But I love the World Series. I would love to do that. That would be amazing. What is your four events that you would like to do in your career, marketing wise, or however you want to do, that you haven't done yet?
So, Super Bowl and NBA Finals are definitely up there for me.
Hmm.
Um, I've been lucky enough to cover the women's U.S. Open and also the Pro Am at Pebble Beach, so that was pretty cool.
Okay.
Um, so Super Bowl, NBA Finals, also March Madness, and then I'm gonna give two more that are not sports related. I want to be like at the VMAs on a red carpet, like talking to people, influencers, celebrities, asking questions. And then one day I would like to be, this is very niche, but one day I would like to have a panel or do something of the sort at BravoCon. That's like for all the Bravo fans. I'd like to run a panel there or
Okay.
an interviewer there or do something like that. So, kind of two sort of pop culture things, three really sports things. I don't know, like the Grammys obviously would be cool and things like that, but starting out kind of smaller, like VMAs, sort of reality TV.
I can
Um,
certainly see you on the red carpet. I think you would be amazing. I think one,
thank
you'll look
you.
amazing, but
Thank you.
two, I think you would absolutely kill it with the conversations. I don't know how anybody would not stop and talk to you for sure.
Thank you. I
They
appreciate it.
they
It's really a
definitely
dream
would.
of mine. So
Yeah.
I hope I can do that one day.
I really hope so too. And listen, if you continue to push for that, like I'm going to push for mine, I really do think that you could definitely reach those goals. There's no question about that. You would absolutely love the Super Bowl. Getting to
Yes.
cover it for the first time this past February in New Orleans was absolutely insane. The food
Really.
was great. The people was great. The media row, like when they say media row, there is all kinds of media. There's like 6,500 media
Oh
members.
yeah.
It's
Yeah. It's
so
crazy.
crazy. It's insane. No question about that. But everything was great about that entire week, for sure. And like I said, I cannot wait to go back out there to San Francisco and do it all over again, for sure. We're gonna play my interactive game now because we've reached the
Okay.
portion of the podcast now that we are coming to the end. But we're gonna play my game called This or That. So it's an interactive game, Lindsay, that I like to play with all my guests here on the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. And it's very simple. I'm going to throw some things at you, and you get to choose this or that. So, Lindsay, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. Out of these two restaurants, which restaurant would you rather eat at?
Okay.
Longhorn Steakhouse or Texas Roadhouse?
Longhorn Steakhouse.
Okay, okay. How do you like your steak?
Medium. How about you?
I'm a medium rare type of guy. I'm a
I like
medium
that.
rare. I like that though, but you said the right word, medium. I like that. So okay, we're off to a great start. When it comes to chicken wings, which flavor of these would you rather put on the wing? Barbecue or lemon pepper?
Lemon pepper.
Do you like your wings wet or dry?
Dry.
Do you like your wings bone in or boneless?
Boneless.
Wow, you are
I
going
don't
against
even
the
eat
grain.
wings that much. That was like a lot of questions about wings.
Wow. Wow. Okay. You are going against the grain, girl. A boneless dry wing. Okay.
Yeah, I don't eat wings very much.
So you're more of a nuggets person, is what you're saying.
Yeah, for sure. Love chicken
Oh,
nuggets.
okay. Got you. Say less. I'm
I
with
had
you on
Pace
that.
the other night. That's strips, but same thing.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, I'm with you on that. I love me some lemon pepper though. That's what's up.
Me
Now
too.
these next five questions that I'm gonna ask you, five questions, are
Mhm.
gonna be about music concerts you rather attend.
Okay.
Okay. Now, would you say, do you like all kinds of music, or is there a certain genre
I'm
that you
all
like?
over the place, but like pop heavy.
Okay, here we go. So let's do this. Which music concert would you rather go see? Would you rather go see Beyonce or Rihanna?
Rihanna.
Ooh, okay, I like that. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. All right, here we go. Starting off well. Which
Okay.
music concert would you rather go see? Would you rather go see Ed Sheeran or Sam Smith?
I think Ed Sheeran. I
Okay.
really like that one Sam Smith song. I don't know, that's a hard one. Maybe Sam Smith actually. He's kind of better.
Okay, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. Now, here we go. Changing genres. Which
Okay.
music concert would you rather go see? Would you rather go see J. Cole or Lil Wayne?
Lil Wayne. Everybody's talking about going. No, everybody's talking about going to the T Pain concert, not the Lil Wayne concert. But I love Lil Wayne.
Listen, I saw him back in August out here. He puts on quite a show. There's no question about
I
that.
heard,
So
I
he
heard
is
that too.
very dope.
Everybody's talking about T Pain concerts these days. I don't know why. I love T Pain, like no hate, but like it's just so crazy. It's all come up in like the past week.
Wow, that is wild. Okay, here we go. Which music concert would you rather go see? Post Malone or would you rather see The Weeknd?
The Weekend.
Ooh, okay.
I saw the
Okay.
Weekend ACL once, like 10 years ago, maybe on 2016. That was probably like 10 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. And for those of you that don't know what ACL is, that's
Austin City
Austin
Limits.
City
Sorry,
Limits. That's
music
Austin
festival.
City Limits. For those of you that don't know, that's one of the best music festivals that you can ever go to in your life. So please put it on the bucket list for sure. Anybody who's anybody goes to that festival for
It's
sure.
cool. Yeah, it's really
No
cool.
question. Last of the music. Which music concert would you rather go see?
Hmm.
Would you rather go see Taylor Swift or would you rather go see Ariana Grande?
Taylor Swift.
You didn't even hesitate on that one.
No,
Wow.
no, I'm not hesitating. Love
Okay.
Ari, but just like Taylor more. Like,
Oh, okay. I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that, dear. That's what's up. Now, let's go back to sports. Which
okay,
sport would you rather watch on TV? Baseball or hockey?
baseball.
Okay. Okay. Now, you said baseball was slow. Hockey's kind of fast paced.
Yeah, hockey's a little bit faster, so it's better in person.
Okay. I'm with you on
And
that.
it's smaller again. We're getting smaller again.
Okay. Okay. Now, which sport would you rather play? Badminton or bowling?
Bowling. I love to bowl. I'm not good at it, but I like it.
I was just about to ask you, are you any good at bowling?
Sometimes I get an 100 and sometimes I get a 50. It's just very inconsistent.
Do you need the bumpers?
No, I don't need the bumpers.
Okay, that's all I care about. Cause then we can bowl. We can bowl, girl. Cause
Yeah.
otherwise, I have to put you on the bumpers with the little slide. You can just slide
Yeah.
down the ball and have your own little lane. That's for sure.
Yeah.
No question. That's what's
Yeah.
up. I like that. Do you like desserts?
I do like desserts. My
Okay.
sister has never liked desserts, though. Fun fact about my sister.
Mm.
So we hate her. I'm just kidding.
He said that so confidently too.
We hate her. No, I'm totally kidding. But yeah, no, I eat dessert.
I love that. I love that you do. I'm gonna name four categories of
Okay.
desserts. Okay, you have to choose one of these categories that you'll never eat again. Okay, so here we go. First category is cookies.
Okay.
The second category is candy.
Hmm.
The third category is ice cream.
Okay.
The last category is grouped together. So it's pies/cakes. Which one are you getting rid of?
This might sound crazy, but I think I'm getting rid of ice cream because once ice cream melts, I don't like it. But when it's not melted, I really like it.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you, what is your favorite cookie?
This is gonna sound weird, but I love those cookies with like the M&Ms in it, or like a sugar sprinkle cookie.
Okay, that's all right. I'm a huge, obviously chocolate chip is a staple, but if I'm going
Yeah.
different, give me gingerbread. Give me
Oh
gingerbread.
yeah, that's nice too.
I love that. I love gingerbread. Now, um, do you like potato chips?
Yes, love.
Okay, so here we go. Same format. I'm gonna name four brands. You got to choose one of these brands to get rid of. The
Okay.
first brand is Doritos.
Okay.
The second brand is Lay's.
Mm-hmm.
The third brand is Ruffles.
Okay.
The last brand is Pringles. Which one are you getting rid of?
Ruffles.
Oh hell no. Oh no. Oh my gosh. You said that without hesitation, yo. That's
Ruffles.
crazy.
I like Ruffles. I like all those options. They're all very good, but
But you're getting rid of Ruffles, is what you're saying.
and I love a
Well,
Lay's. This could be
it
like anything.
well, Lindsay, I mean it's okay. Like you just proven to me you're not perfect. You're absolutely lovely in a lot of different ways, but you're just
It's
not
not
perfect.
perfect, of course.
That's okay. That's all right. And that's cool. Now, if I asked you though, because you don't have to change, you don't have to pick the other three. If I
Okay.
asked you, Lindsay, what is your favorite chip to eat? When you walk into the store, what chip are you buying?
Oh my gosh, that's a hard question. I guess we could go for nacho cheese Doritos.
Okay, I like that. I like those a lot.
No,
I do.
sorry, Cool Ranch. Cool Ranch. I was thinking of the not. I was thinking of the wrong bag, but I like the blue bag, the Cool Ranch.
That too. That part. That too. That's pretty good as well. Okay, I'm with you on that. That's totally with you on that. You redeemed yourself, so that's okay. Um, if you had a choice to choose three people to take with you on vacation. So it's three plus one equaling four. Who are those three people that you would choose and where would you go? Now, before you choose, Lindsay, you can choose family, friends, or celebrities.
Um, I feel like I would have like one of my best friends,
Okay.
and then Taylor Swift and Travis Kelsey.
Where would you go?
We're going to a beach somewhere.
Okay.
We're gonna go to a beach and like we're just gonna hang out and like drink, but like beach chill, and then I'm gonna hear about all the gossip.
Okay. So would you say
NFL
like
and pop culture, because then I get both the gossips.
you do now? Would you say Destin, Florida, or that beach? Would you say maybe
No,
out
let's
of the
go somewhere better.
country?
Like let's go to the Bahamas or Mexico or something.
That's what I'm saying. Out of the country. Okay. Cool. Cool. I'm with you on that. Now, if you had a choice to listen to songs on repeat and never get tired of them,
Hmm.
what are three songs or artists that you would listen to on repeat and never get tired of? So songs or artists, what are three of those?
I'm gonna go artist because songs are kind of hard for me. But Taylor Swift,
Okay.
Queen, and then Rascal Flatts.
Wow. Queen. Okay. Another one bites the dust.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a
I'm
lot.
with you on that. All right. That's what's up. Now, I want to ask you this particular question, and that is favorite alcoholic drink.
I like a Tito's martini or Grey Goose martini, straight up, no vermouth, lots of olives, lots of olive juice, and if there's blue cheese olives, you get a bonus.
Yo, you are wow. That is that is different. I mean,
Totally
that
different. If we're
that is
going
a
like
seasoned
be like
that is
seltzer
a
bars, I love
seasoned
Heinekens.
drink. For sure.
Yes.
There's no question about that. So you've had some Tito's in your life. I know
Yes,
that.
for
No
sure.
question. Okay. All right. That's what's up. Uh when it comes to I would say board game, what is your
Mhm.
favorite board game to play?
The game of life.
Okay, I like that. Favorite card game.
Spite and Malice. It's like a not very well known game. I was taught very young. And I just like love that game. I taught people at camp. I taught camp counselors. I might have taught my ex at one point. Like I love that game. We used to play on family vacations with our family friends.
Okay, so when I do slide up to Houston, which I definitely will come at some point in
Yes,
26, if you're there, please teach me that because I have
yes.
never heard of that damn game in my life. Never.
It's confusing, but like once you learn it, it's really cool. I always said because I always win. I was like, I should go find some tournaments and actually like play and win. But like, I'm sure you would make
You should.
$2. But still, I don't know if
That's what's
people would
up. I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. Okay, two more questions. The sport that you would play that you would dominate in.
Yes.
What is that sport?
So growing up, I was a dancer and then I played volleyball and I was a cheerleader. Um, I've stepped back on the volleyball court since. It's not the greatest, but it's not the worst. And then I lost all my flexibility for the most part from dance and stuff, so that's not very good either. So I'm not good. I don't know. I guess we could say volleyball, but it's not very good.
Okay. So let me ask the opposite of that, which is the antonym of this question, which is pretty much what is the sport that you would play that you would absolutely suck in?
Any contact sport, and that includes basketball and soccer. Like those are I like. I never wanted to play the sports where like I was like touching the other girls. Like that wasn't for me. Like we were all non-contact sports, like volleyball. I wanted to play tennis. I never really did, but I wanted to. But yeah, so like soccer, basketball, football. Like if I'm like touching somebody else, like no, we're done. Not,
Really?
not for me. No, it's never.
Wow.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm with you on that, Lindsay. I mean, listen, sports is very, very contact, very physical, but you are not a physical person, is what you're saying. I love it. Listen, hey, I love it. But at least you love watching sports, and at least you love participating in sports. And obviously, you're doing a great job of
Thank
what
you.
you're doing right now. And I've really, really appreciated this conversation of
Me as
learning about
well.
you, your why, your mindset, what you do for work, the different events that you have going on, obviously, and then some of the perspectives that you gave about your previous stop in reporting and doing that and just your thought process. I really do appreciate it. I'm a new fan of yours,
Thank you.
Lindsay.
And I'm a new fan of
Um,
yours.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I want to ask you this very final question, and that is there anything else you would like to add about yourself, the job, or anything at all before we conclude?
So, first off, I want to thank you. This was such a lovely conversation, and I hope that if anybody listens to this, they can gain something. Um, and just want to say to people if you're not feeling successful, I go through a lot of like imposter syndrome and things like that. Just ride it out, and everything will work out the way it's supposed to. Maybe if it's not in the path that you think, I'm
Right.
definitely working on that right now. And if anybody is looking for a host, for a journalist, for anything in the Houston or any areas, I'm willing to fly. I'm willing to work with anybody. I'm really eager to get myself out there, high school, college, whatever it is, professional. I really like to be back in the sports world or in the entertainment sphere. So that's kind of all I got to say.
No doubt about it. I'm gonna send you a website. It's called Ming Entertainment.
Okay.
They do a lot of production stuff in sports.
Oh, cool.
However, they do also some stuff as well, some other stuff as well. So, but I'm
Okay.
gonna send you that website, and I'm gonna let you because I've done a few things with them. But I'm gonna
Okay.
send that to you offline, and we'll talk offline about that. But again, Lindsay, thank you so much for coming on the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. You enjoy the rest of your Tuesday evening and
Thank
the rest of your
you.
week. You and I will definitely be in touch.
Yes, we will. Thank you so much, Chris.
No problem.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.